All right, hey, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachak, Kodash. Hey, dumb honors and salutations to the apostles and those of the great millstone. Much respect to you brothers out on the highways and byways pushing this truth with fear and sincerity. And Shalom to the whole field elect. Shabbat Chalakar, coming back at you in another video. And in the news today, I got this from Euro News. Moscow said it's tested Poseidon underwater drone, another nuclear super weapon. So if you haven't been keeping up with the times, the Lord has said he'll put signs, so we can know that his coming, his second coming. And these are one of the signs. Is war, rumors of war. And what Russia is doing is testing these nuclear missiles, which is alarming Babylon the Great to do the same. You had a tweet from Nero Caesar himself. It says the United States has more nuclear weapons than any other country. This was accomplished including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office. Because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it, but had no choice. Russia is second and China is the distant third, but will be even within 5 years. Because of other countries' testing programs, I have instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately. Thank you for all your attention to this matter, President Nero 47 Trump. So yeah, Nero 47 is saying they're going to start testing nuclear weapons, nuclear bombs. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they haven't done that since 1992. And these other countries, i.e. Russia, Iran, Iran is enriching their uranium, day by day. You got China flexing this muscle. You got North Korea telling you it can reach, missiles to come over here. You got Russia, same thing, showing you this might, like it says in Ezekiel 38 and verse 4, right? It says that he's going to put hooks in Russia, or he's going to put hooks and bring them back. Ezekiel 38 and 4, it says, I will turn thee back, and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all them clothed with sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. And we know what the modern day sword is. What is that? These weapons of mass destruction. I've created the smith that bloweth the coals. And Babylon the Great, which is more snout, and he's talking reckless. They're gonna get blown up. The Lord said, or the scriptures say, read John the Revelator, saw this place being blown up in 1 hour. This is Revelation 18, and I'm gonna start at 11. Revelation 18:11. Read down. It says, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, who is her is Babylon the Great, this whore. For no man buyeth their merchandise any more, the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and of fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet, all thine wood and all manner vessels of ivory, all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass and of iron and marble, and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which dainty and godly or goodly, Salakia, are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchant of these things, which were made rich by her, shall stand afar off, in the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, at last, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decorated with gold and precious stones and pearls, Here's the point: for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the companies and ships and sailors, as many as trade by sea, stood far off, and cried when they saw the smoke of a burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And then this great city is Babylon the Great. That's going to be blown off the map. Babylon was a golden cup in the Lord's arm, right? And it must be taken out. This is Jeremiah 5 and 51 and 7. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, Yahweh's hand, and made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. And that's, you see what they're doing? They're testing these weapons. As a matter of fact, Russia tested a weapon yesterday, the day before. But this one they testing now is Satan 2. Not only that, they got this Poseidon that's underwater. You know, this is the one they tested, a couple days ago? The 9M730. This one that can reach 8,000 miles. America is roughly probably 5,000 miles away from Russia, from one point to the end of the other point. Over there in the Bering Sea, it's only a couple miles, I believe, to get to Russia to America. But we're talking about, nuclear missiles flying from one end to the other end. And this nuclear missile right here, and let me read it. It says the 9M730 Burevestnik is a Russian low-flying nuclear-powered, nuclear-armed cruise missile under development of the Russian Armed Forces. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, the missile's range is effectively unlimited. So this is low. It can't be detected, and that's a problem if you can't detect these missiles that's flying low, because they're going to be over the rate. They're going to be undetected by these radars. And not only that, you have China just built a quantum radar, where they can disguise and hide, their missiles. So again, these nations are mad. These nations been drunk off Babylon. You had Trump go, Nero Caesar go and meet with Xi Jinping in South Korea, and you could just look on the face of Xi Jinping and saying, this, we're tired of you, man. We're tired of you. He trying to afford this debt and trying to, make amends in the order of peace. But in his heart, he's cricket. His words are smoother than butter. Let me finish this and we can get that one. Jeremiah 51:8. Babylon is set and fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. And she ain't going to be healed. You got the National Guard posing up in these different cities. This was, I believe this was today, yeah. And the Pentagon developed a National Guard quick reaction force for civil unrest. Why are they getting ready for civil unrest? Because Jake is about to turn up. These food stamps is out. They already coming on the airways and telling you that their food stamps is out. And what are they going to do? They're going to rob and steal, loot, because they've been getting all this stuff for free and don't want to work for it, just like in the time of Egypt. I remember the leeks. I remember the melons and the oranges or whatnot, watermelons and whatnot. They remember these things and they got them for free, and now they can't get them for free. Instead of going to the Lord, acquiring about the Lord, Jake say he gonna steal it, and we know that's one of the commandments: thou shalt not steal. But hey, Jake is being roused up. Genesis 49. Who shall rouse him up? Esau. Lord is putting this heavy, heavy, heavy spirit on Jake. It's 2/3 of our people, but this is part of the downfall of Babylon the Great. The citizens getting upset, the people, upset. They're mourning. You're taking away their dainties. You're taking away their things. And so the people are gonna mourn. They're gonna fight back. They're gonna press back. As a matter of fact, what is it in Second Edges? Second Edges, 11 maybe. 44. This is what I wasn't looking for, but just Second Edges 11 and 44. It says the highest also have looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled. And that's Esau Edom. You know, those sins are reaching us towards heaven. So the Lord is putting the spirit out here to turn up against this devil, you know, because this devil got a short time. So he ain't just going to just do, he going to do whatever he want to do, but there's going to be a pushback. People ain't just going to lay down. That's not the spirit of America. The spirit of America is Sodom and Egypt, you know, and these plagues are going to stick, you know, and things are going to continue to happen. What I really wanted was another, because the Civil War, you know, is brewing, right? Slovakia, bear with me. Second Esdras, where is it? Here we go, 13. Second Esdras 13 and 29, it says, "Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth." So yeah, this the elect. The elect is the ones that's going to be delivered. You know, 12,000 from each tribe. And then you got your women, men, and children. Women, men, and children. Men, women, and children, which is going to be more women and children in that deliverance, because you already got 144,000. 12,000 from each tribe, from Judah all the way down to Issachar. Second Esdras 13 and 29, "Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. And he shall come to astonishment of them that dwell on the earth." Yeah, because a lot of people are going to be astonished. A lot of people are going to be like, what? I should have paid attention. I should have did this. I should, woulda, shoulda, coulda. Ask Israelites, man. You heathen don't count. You're going to get judged either way. It says, "And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, and one people against another, and one realm against another. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and these signs shall happen, which I showed thee before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascended." You know, so Yahweh shall going to be declared in these times. That MOTB comes back, World War III is happening. Shit, we're talking about World War III now, but it's going to be a fight. Another realm against each other, a place against each other, a country against each other. You know, nation shall rise against nation. You know, there should be famine, great death. All of this is coming, you know. Pentagon, like I said, the Pentagon deploying National Guard quick reaction force for civil unrest. The Pentagon is ordering National Guard quick reaction force teams to be trained to respond to the civil unrest across the country and ready to deploy by the start of next year, according to the memo reviewed by the multiple outlets. The big picture, no, they ain't gonna let you read it. Yeah, they ain't gonna let you read it, but you get next year is happening. You know, they gearing up. But back to this. Let's listen to this real quick.
Russia has conducted a test of a new nuclear-powered and nuclear-capable underwater drone known as Poseidon. Speaking from a hospital where he met injured soldiers, Putin described it as a new weapon which cannot be intercepted.
Но Посейдон значительно превышает Сармат по мощности.
You know, they making these weapons to fight who? They ain't gonna fight Ukraine with these. Why you need a underwater cruise missile to fight Ukraine? They don't need that, do you? You know, they're allies with China, Iran. Remember they had that meeting like a couple months back where they was talking about living for all eternity or something like that. Having the technology to live for a very, very, very long time, because 80 and 90 was just those your younger years, as they were saying. They got allies on their side. They got the BRICS nation. You know, you got NATO that's going against them, but eventually NATO going to join them, right? And go against who? Babylon the Great.
И кроме того, по скоростям и по глубинам движения этого беспилотного аппарата в мире ничего подобного нет, в ближайшее время вряд ли появится, и способов перехвата не существует.
On Sunday, Moscow tested another nuclear weapon, which US President Donald Trump called not appropriate.
See, this is Moscow's second nuclear weapon test in a week. And then you have, like I said, you got Nero Caesar saying that they need to get back to testing. You know, they need to get back to doing these tests and bringing these tests back in these nuclear, you know, which he's gonna flex his might. Because this is all the deterrence. It's trying to show you, it's like when you about to, you know, fight somebody, right? Two men about to fight. One man to take off his shirt, pop his muscles out, like, yeah, you don't want none of this. This is to deter you. You know, one man might, you know, get into a boxing stance and like, oh shit, this nigga know how to box, you know? It's like, let me think about what I want to do here. Or you put out a gun, right? It's to deter you. You put out a weapon, it's to deter you. This is what Moscow, this is what Putin is doing. He's trying to deter, you know? But Babylon is looking like, we ain't scared of y'all, you know, because like I was telling you, it's only going to take this place 1 hour to take it out. Putin has already said that.
Russian media reported that the Poseidon was designed to explode near coastlines and unleash a powerful radioactive tsunami.
And that's why the scriptures say, bend the bow. Shoot at her. Let me get that real quick. Shoot at her. This bitch gotta go down. Jeremiah 50. Yeah, oof. This place gotta go down. Jeremiah 50 and 12 says, your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, we talking about Great Britain. Because America came out of Britain, right? It had those 13 colonies, you know, starting from Britain. Most of the nations shall be in the wilderness, a dry land in the desert. Because of the wrath of the Lord, Yahweh, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall wholly desolate, be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished, and hiss at her plagues. Put yourself in array against Babylon around about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Lord. She has sinned against the Lord. Shoot at her. Let me read that in NLT 14. Jeremiah 50 and 14. Yes, prepare to attack Babylon and all surrounding nations. All you surrounding nations. Let your archers shoot at her. Spare no arrows. Now, if you go in ancient time, only one country came up against Babylon. The Persians, the Persian Medio Empire. It's telling you that all surrounding nations, all. So we know that's talking about where? Here, Babylon the Great, virgin daughter of Babylon. This place. Let your archers shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Lord. Back in the KJV, verse 15. Shout against her around about. She hath given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of the Lord, Yahweh. Take vengeance upon her as she has done. Do unto her. You know? So this place has to go. And these other countries, they're letting you know. 3 days after announcing a test of nuclear-powered Burevestnik missile, Moscow said on Wednesday it also tested Poseidon, a nuclear-capable underwater drone. The second nuclear weapon test in just a week comes as the talks with the U.S. stall over Moscow's reluctance to cease fire in Ukraine. It's like, if you keep telling me to stop beating on this nigga, I'm finna turn it on you. Look what I got, man. Russia has conducted a successful test of a new nuclear-powered and nuclear-capable underwater drone known as Poseidon. President Vladimir Putin announced on Wednesday, describing it as a new weapon which cannot be intercepted. Putin said the drone has already been dubbed a doomsday machine. Speaking at a Moscow hospital where he met the soldiers wounded in Russia's war against Ukraine, Putin said the Poseidon drone was tried while running on nuclear power for the first time on Tuesday. He also described it as having unmatched in speed and depth. The Russian president said the nuclear reactor that powers the Poseidon is 100 times smaller than those on submarines, and the power of his nuclear warhead is significantly higher than that of our most advanced Samrat intercontinental ballistic missile. For the first time, we managed not only to launch it with a launch engine from a carrier submarine, but also to launch the nuclear power unit on which this device passed a certain amount of time, Putin said. There is no independent confirmation that the test took place. Then they get into what is Poseidon and whatnot. Again, they ain't playing. The Lord is putting it in their minds. The Lord works in the king's minds, man. That's in Revelation. And the Lord is putting it in to turn against this bitch. And we're just sitting back watching, praying for mercy every day we get up. Thank you for waking us up today. Giving me the strength to preach this word, to provide for myself, my family, my house. Keeping the spirit on me, and just relying on the Lord, man. Because we're gonna need the Lord. If you these jakes out here trying to steal and rob, man, this is the beginning of the sorrow, man. Beginning of Jacob's trouble. So with that said, I hope you was edified. We got some out of Shalom.